Knives are cool. And axes too.
Hello everybody, Robert Breaker, and I like bayonets. And today we're going to look at a bayonet. And I'm not crazy about AK bayonets, but this is an AK bayonet. And it's actually a good example of one. And I've told you before, I garage sale. So I don't buy something unless it's dirt cheap. And a lot of these I pick up at garage sales for really, really good prices. But I have never liked the AK bayonet. It's got to be one of the ugliest things I've ever seen in my life. But that's what they looked like when they came out for the AK. So let's zoom in on this and let me show you this. This one is an older one. This is actual Bakelite. So this is not wood. This is plastic. This is Bakelite. And look how it's just so bulky, just so big. Your hand fits it well though. And you've got one edge. See how it's flat on this side and this side? And these do not, I mean do not sharpen well. They're very hard to sharpen. They've made them of a kind of a steel that's very hard to sharpen. But this is your AK bayonet. This one actually has the leather frog. So this one is a great example of AK bayonet. And the reason it has this piece here, okay, if we take off the leather, the reason it has this piece here, and I find this amazing. To me, history is fascinating, and I love to learn about these things. It actually has this for chain link fence. And when you go like this, you can break the chain links and go through. But what if you come upon a chain link fence and it's electric and it has so many volts and it can hurt you? That's what this gray piece is. It's a rubber. And so you hold it by the rubber and you come up and you cut the fence and you don't get electrocuted because you're holding the rubber piece. If you were holding the actual metal, you would not be a happy camper. Which reminds me of a story when I was a kid. Up the road from us, we had a place, and it was a farm, I guess, and they had an electric fence. And my buddy and I were on our bicycles riding along, and he said, I gotta pee. And I go, I dare you to pee on the electric fence. Well, I'm not telling you to try it because I saw someone that did. He was like, why? What'll it do? I go, nothing. So he peed on the electric fence, and to this day, I still hear that scream when I close my eyes. It was, oh, nothing's gonna happen. Ah! And it definitely held the charge all the way through to his you-know-what. So I've never peed on an electric fence, but I do know someone who has, and he was not a happy camper. But when it comes to these, and this one is actually numbers matching, I have never liked an AK bayonet. Look at that. Let's zoom in on it. It just looks so ugly to me. I don't like anything about it. And the blade, like I said, very hard to sharpen. And just such an ugly, look at that ugly handle. Well, there is an answer to people who like AKs. And before I get the answer, let me show you what it looks like on the actual rifle itself. This is just part of a rifle here, and I'm going to put it on for you to show you what it looks like. Here you go. It fits on there like that. And it does not look that great, does it? Does this one even fit? Yeah, it should. Well, that one's so hard to get on, I'm just going to leave it, but it goes on like that. I can't get it to lock in place. So it goes on like that. So there's your AK, and that is just an ugly looking knife / bayonet. But there is an AK bayonet that is super awesome. And I didn't know these existed. Several years ago, I was in a show in, where was I? I wasn't in Mississippi. I was in someplace, and I saw this on the table, and I said to the fella, hey, what is that? He goes, it's an AK bayonet. I said, this is an AK bayonet? I said, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. What is it? Well, it's called a Circle 10. Look up here where it shows Circle 10. Circle 10, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm just off the top of my head trying to remember this, I think is Bulgarian. So this is a Bulgarian-made AK bayonet. And look how thin it is. And this is made out of plastic. So I pull it out, and I can go and I can cut through me a fence if I need to with that right there. And I don't need that piece because this is plastic, or polymer actually. And I can do the fence cutting. But look at that. That is so cool in comparison to that ugly thing. What a difference. The ergonomics is better, places for your fingers, just the looks, everything. That is awesome. That's called a Circle 10 bayonet. Now, to my understanding, I have looked and looked and looked at all the shows I go to, and I've only seen this one time. And the guy wanted 60 bucks. And the next time I went, he wanted 80 bucks. The next time I went, he wanted 100 bucks. I said, why do you keep changing the price? Well, only so many of these were shipped into America. So this is a Bulgarian Circle 10 AK bayonet, and it is just cool. And I think you can order these off of eBay, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see what it looks like on it. And here's what it looks like. Now that looks cool, does it not? I mean, that looks way better than this ugly thing. And so I just find that, maybe I put a little light on here. Doesn't that look just, a lot of guys don't like AKs, and a lot of guys, oh, that looks dumb. That makes your AK look attractive, does it not? And it feels good in your hand. Now, again, just like most AK bayonets, it's not easy to sharpen. But it comes pre-sharpened, and that is actually pretty sharp. Now, here's the thing that you got to come in and look at. I want you to zoom in on this, because here's your standard AK bayonet, completely flat on one side, only one grind on this side. So they only ground one side. Look at this one. It's ground like there's a little ledge there. And then you flip it over, it's the same thing. That is such a weird design for the shape of a knife. So you've got your edge here, but that's your, I don't know what to call it, blood groove, blood channel. Usually it would be in the middle in many bayonets, and it would be like that. This is on that side, and you flip it over on that side. It's got a little mini saw. I don't think that saw would work very good. But this just has to be the coolest AK bayonet I think I've ever seen. And this handle is so amazing. See the difference? How wide this one is. This one gets wider toward the back. This one stays consistently and just feels really, really good in your hand. And I don't know how hard this one would be to sharpen, but I know that they are notorious for being a type of metal that does not sharpen well. But that would stick. And when it comes to a knife or a bayonet, you want the point to be in the middle of the handle. And this point is in the very middle of the handle. Otherwise, when it's not, of course that one is, so that's nice. But usually when you have that, when you stab, it goes up. You don't want to stab it, go up and then have a hard time getting out. So a lot of thought went into this one. And when they use it, stab in, stab straight out. I just think this Circle 10 is just the coolest thing I've ever seen. That's got to be one of my favorite bayonets. And just the way that it feels, the sharpness of the point, at least. The rest of it, it's still sharper than that one. And it just looks so nice on there that now it makes you want to have an AK, because now they don't look weird. Now they look really, really cool. And it fits on there very easy, comes off very easy as well. So I'll close it there. And let me ask you this, and you can leave in the comments, have you ever seen a Circle 10 bayonet like this before? I have not seen very many. And I felt very blessed to be able to find this and pick it up. And I just keep seeing, every time I do see them at the show, which is very seldom, that their price is going up and up and up, because they're not that many, I don't think, here in America. So zoom in on that, and we'll close there. And let me know if you've ever seen one of these before. I just think it's so cool. What a difference. There's your old leather. Here's your new one. It just kind of hangs off the side. But that's your Circle 10 AK bayonet. Let there be light.
Knives are cool. And axes too.
Bullseye.